Hey, good afternoon. Very shortly, how container queries work. Now, imagine this layout with a one column website and boxes inside there. Those are displayed with display grid, and they got some gaps, 16 on both sides. Traditionally, if we would want to manipulate, let's say, the heading size based on the viewport, we would have to calculate it from the whole viewport, the screen size. So let's say that those H2 headings, we want them to be 26 pixels high at a certain point once the screen is not small enough, okay? So if you got to the point where on the phone it would be like this, and you would want to have them on 26, let's say at this size, traditionally what you would do is calculate it from the viewport. So if we look at the DevTools, can I make this bigger? And this one smaller. We know that the section which holds those boxes has some 16 pixels padding on the sides, and the gap between those is 16 as well. So if I want to say that at the box width of this one of the box width of 300 pixels, I want to have a larger font size of the heading, I would have to calculate it with let's open a calculator actually. So if I would want to say traditionally at 300 pixels of this box, make the font of the heading 26, so I have to double it because I've got two, have to include the 16 pixel gap in between them in the grid, and the 16 pixels on both sides of the section as it's their padding. Now I would get to 648, and I would go to my editor and I would use the media and all, and min width of 648 pixels, have the div h2, font size of 26. Okay, and it should somewhat reflect the 300 we've set it here. Yeah, as you can see. So we now see that it's 300, and if I would align it lower, I would get there. But you don't have to calculate it this way anymore. Now, as container queries reached all the major browsers, now major mean excluding Internet Explorer 11, meaning Chrome, Safari, Firefox, and Edge, you can use container queries, which works basically as media queries, but you don't target the whole viewport, but the element of your choice. So if I delete the rule here, as you can see here, I've set a container type inline size, which is to get the size, and its name, article preview. You can combine them in a shorthand using the slash character here. So we've defined the container inside the rule set for this element, for the div, and later on we can say, using the add symbol as in the media queries, add container article preview and its min width of 300 pixels. Apply the H2 font size to 26. Okay, so regardless of viewport, regardless of other elements, we are now targeting the div and its width based on this container query rule set. So look at H2, it got the 26 pixel height, and if I slowly degrade the size, when it reaches the 300, it would go to 26. And I don't have to calculate anything. I don't need to count in the margins, boxes, anything that might get into the code later on, or any other elements that might get into the DOM through JavaScript or whatever, I don't need to worry if the code for the boxes changes. I can use it as a component and code it in a component level and build the website from the components. And I don't have to care where they flow inside the document. Okay. And with the container queries, they also introduce several units based on the container queries. So for example, you can calculate the width or height of the minimum of those and combine them within the single container. So instead of font size 26, I can say font size to be 8CQW, which means just 8 container query width units, and those being fragments or fractions of 100. So similarly, as you would use VW or VH for viewport height and viewport width, you can use container query width and height and minimum and so on and so forth. And now it's only supported, getting the size like this is now supported in all major browsers, so you can use them in your code. And there is also a draft version for detecting styles, which works only in Google Chrome beta currently. And it would look like this style, and it would work like this. So you would detect certain styles and apply different rules based on those styles that got rendered and calculated in your page. But now we can use the size just like that, and it will help so much with the development of larger projects especially. So that's for today. See you.